Happy morning, dear students. Respiratory infections, it is one of the leading cause of morbidity and mortality in young children. Respiratory problems are responsible for a large proportion of pediatric admissions and outpatient attendance. The important risk factor associated with the respiratory diseases including malnutrition, low birth weight, climate variations, especially in the winter seasons and rainy seasons. Okay, today we are going to discuss about respiratory distress syndrome, that is hyaline membrane disease. Hi, this is Jansi Rani. Today's topic is RDS. Introduction. Respiratory distress syndrome, formerly known as hyaline membrane disease, is a syndrome of premature neonates that is characterized by progressive and usually fatal respiratory failure resulting from atelectasis and immaturity of the lungs. Respiratory distress occurs most commonly in the premature neonates, primarily baby weight between 1000 and 1500 grams and between 28 to and 37 weeks of gestational age. Those children only more prone to get this RDS, respiratory distress syndrome. In neonates 28 to 30 weeks gestation, the incidence is 50% to 70% and increases with the degree of prematurity. RDS can be fatal. Those whose survival are at the risk for the chronic respiratory and neurological complications. If those children who are born at the 28 to 30 weeks of gestational age, those children are prone to get a chronic respiratory and then neurological complications. This is about the hyaline membrane disease or respiratory distress syndrome. Introduction. Okay, look at this picture, how the normal lung it will be there. Here the lungs is having bronchi and bronchioles and then alveoli. Here the alveoli is obstructed with the fluid or mucus. Here this is the normal alveoli of the lung. Here the acute respiratory distress syndrome condition alveoli, lung alveoli. Okay, this also is same image here. Okay, here the some accumulation of the mucus and then some because of surface tense, that is lung membrane. Okay, it is not well developed in the premature babies. When the expiration, here the surface tense will be the protein layer, it will be destroyed because of inspiration and then expiration. So child may suffer with the immaturity. Because of immaturity, child may suffer the hyaline membrane disease or respiratory distress syndrome. Okay, this is about image. And other names of this respiratory distress syndrome is infant respiratory distress syndrome, that is IRDS, and neonatal respiratory distress syndrome and respiratory distress syndrome of newborn, surface tense deficiency disorder, that is SDD, they told that. Okay, and next finally hyaline membrane disease, HMD. In your exams they will ask any of above these. Okay, you should be able to write same. Okay, that is respiratory distress syndrome or hyaline membrane disease. Okay, this is about the other names of RDS. And next, coming to the definition. Hyaline membrane disease, HM, is disease manifesting with 6 hours of birth being related to deficiency of surface tense in the alveoli. It's leading to acute respiratory distress with fatal termination of if not treated promptly. Here, what is a definition of RDS or hyaline membrane disease? It is a disease manifesting within 6 hours of birth being related to deficiency of surface tense in the alveoli. Here the alveoli is having surface tense because of the deficiency of the surface tense. Here the surface tense is having the protein layer. Okay, because in premature babies that protein layer, that is surface tense, is deficient in the prematurity because improper development of because baby is born before gestation. No, baby is born between the 28 to 30 weeks of gestational, that time their lungs is immature, so the surface tense is not well developed, so baby is getting this hyaline membrane disease. Whenever you are not treating well, automatically child may having chronic respiratory problems. This is about the definition of the RDS and etiology. Coming to the etiology, adequate pulmonary function at birth depends on an adequate amount of surfactants. What is surfactants? A lipoprotein mixture lining the alveolar cell, which allows for the alveolar stability and prevents the alveolar collapse at the end of the aspiration. Okay, so here the because of improper growth of baby, that is alveoli growth, because prematurity, child may is not having the surfactant. Okay, that is lipoprotein mixture, it is not well developed. Okay, that is one of the cause. An adequate surfactant area in air space to allow for gas exchange, that is surfactants pulmonary capillary bed in the contact with this alveolar surface area, because that also is immature. That okay, so child is having this alveolar deformities or surfactants lining mixture, that is lipoprotein is immature to develop. So RDS is ultimately the result of decreased pulmonary surfactant, incomplete structural development of lung, and highly compliant chest walls. Here, these are also one of the cause of RDS. And contributing factors are any factors that decrease the surface tense, such as some contributory factors is there associated with this RDS, that is prematurity and immature alveolar lining cells, acidosis, hypothermia, hypoxia, hypovolemia, diabetes, elective cesarean section. Those of the factors is associated with this RDS condition because of decreased surfactant. Okay, next, the fetal or intrapartum stress that compromise blood supply to fetal lungs, vaginal bleeding, maternal hypertension, difficulty resuscitation associated with the birth asphyxia. Some situations such as steroid therapy or heroin addictions, mother in some drug abuse in our country it is not there, but heroin drug addictions is mostly we will see in the foreign countries, other countries, that is it results the acceleration of the surface tense, that also one of the cause. And RDS due to non-pulmonary factors such as cardiac defects, it may not involve the respiratory problems, but it is associated with the non-pulmonary, that is associated with the other than the lung, means that is cardiac defects, sepsis, airway obstruction, intraventricular hemorrhage, hypoglycemia, and acute blood loss. These are the non-pulmonary causes. Okay, what are those? Cardiac defects, sepsis, airway obstruction, intraventricular hemorrhage, hypoglycemia, and acute blood loss. These are the non-pulmonary factors. And surfactant production is deficient by type 2 alveolar cells. Here, it may, although some surfactants may be present at birth, it may not regenerated at the adequate rate. Surfactant production may be reduced due to the, why it may be reduced, because of extreme immaturity of alveolar lining cells, diminished or impaired production rate resulting from fetal or early neonatal stress. And next one is impairment of released mechanism for phospholipid for form type 2 alveolar cells. And next, death of many of these cells responsible for decreased surfactants production. These are the deficient type 2 alveolar cells. Okay, this is about the etiological factor. And next one is more oxygen and energy are required to expand the alveoli with the each breath, causing the fatigue, because of child is having some fatigue, no, because prematurity, some baby has to some strength to inhale and for the respiration. So it is here the child is having fatigue, that also because of surface deformities. And the number of alveoli that expand the progressively decrease, leading to alveoli instability and then atelectasis. Child may having this atelectasis also. And next one is pulmonary vascular resistance increasing, the cause of hypoperfusion of lung. Okay, that also one of the cause. And next one is a persistence of fetal circulation right to left shunt, resulting leading to hypoxemia and hypercapnia, which leads to respiratory and metabolic acidosis. Because of here the right to left shunt, it is a cardiac problem. Here the deoxygenated blood may enter into the left heart. So here what happen, oxygen saturation it is not maintained in the blood volume, so it may leads to the hypoxemia and then hypocapnia. It leads to respiratory metabolic acidosis. Okay, that is and next one is hypoxemia and pulmonary vascular pressure cause ischemia in the alveolus, leading to transudate in the alveoli and formation of membranous layer. Okay, layers. Okay, this is about the because of hypoxemia, child may is having the pulmonary vascular pressure, ischemia of the alveolus is there. Okay, these are the causes. And next one is gas exchange, because inhibited lung becomes stiff, because depressed compliance required more pressure to expand, because the surface strength, the alveoli is not well developed, it is not developing, the lipoprotein it is not well developed, it is not degenerated, so it became gas exchange become inhibited, means the lung it became stiffness it will be there. So the when baby is in inspiration and then expiration, that time it won't be having proper elasticity, it won't be expelled out. Okay, it won't be compressed, so stiffness it will be there, that also one of the cause. And next one is airway obstruction leading to increased hypoxia and then vasoconstriction, and the cycle continues. Here the cycle it will be may continuously increase the hypoxemia and then vasoconstriction. So, same as way the cycle will be continuous because of the airway obstruction. And third one is RDS is usually self-limiting disease, and symptoms peak in about 3 to 4 days, at which time surface strength synthesize being begins to atelectasis, and then pulmonary functions and clinical appearance being to improved. Okay, these are the causes of the RDS. And coming to the pathophysiology. What is pathophysiology? First, because of the prematurity. In the prematurity, what happened? Lungs is immature. The surface of the alveoli is immature. The lipoprotein is not well developed. It is not regenerated. So, because of prematurity, decreased surface density is there and increased alveolar surface tension is there. It leads to atelectasis. Because of atelectasis, hypoxemia and then carbon dioxide retention it will be there. It may leads to the acidosis and pulmonary vasoconstriction and then hypoperfusion is there because of acidosis, and it may lead to the capillary damage. Once the capillary damage is there, what happen? Plasma is leaking. So once the leaking is there, what happen? Automatically our body will be producing fibrinogen. It is a fibrinogen. What is the action of fibrinogen? To stop the leaking of the plasma. So some obstruction is there because of the fibrin. The fibrin it may is having the hyaline membrane disease of the lung. The obstruction which will be there in the surface of the lung alveoli. Okay, this is about the pathophysiology. All of it clear? Because of the prematurity, decreased surface tension is there. It may lead to the increased alveolar surface tension. Because of that, the surface tension is increased of the alveoli. It may lead to the atelectasis. Once child is having atelectasis, hypoxemia, carbon dioxide retention it will be there. It may lead to the acidosis. And once child is having acidosis, pulmonary vasoconstriction and hypoperfusion is there. Because of that, capillary damage is there. Once the damage of the capillaries is there, plasma is leaking. Because of leaking, our body immune system may produce the fibrinogen to stop that leaking. So this fibrin is that fibrin is called as hyaline membrane disease of the lung capillaries. The lung capillaries is obstructed. Okay, this is about the with the fibrinogen. This is about the pathophysiology. I hope everybody is understand. And next one is clinical manifestations. Here the clinical manifestations are primary and then secondary and then cardiac edema. Everything is there. We will discuss one by one. First one is primary signs and symptoms. That is expiratory, grunting, or weaning means when the infant is not crying. Okay, here the some grunting it will be there. That is primary clinical feature. And then sternal, suprasternal, substernal and intracostal retractions is there. Okay, here the sternal, where the sternum is there. Okay, you know, in between the one attachment is there between the two right and left rib. In between the chest wall it is there, that is sternum. And then suprasternum. Suprasternum means it is there in the joint, at the joint of the neck and then thoracic cavity. That is suprasternum. And then substernal. Here the substernum is below the sternus. It is called as substernum. And then intracostal retractions. Here sternal, suprasternal, substernal and intercostal retractions is there. Retractions maybe we will identify. And then progressing the paradoxical seesaw respirations. Here the paradoxical seesaw respirations we will identify. Seesaw means have you seen I will give an example. Seesaw, it is moving. Seesaw, it is there in the playground. Okay, it is up and down moving. Okay, so that is the way paradoxical seesaw respirations will be there in the children respirations. Okay, next one is that is the primary signs and symptoms and respiratory nasal pharynx. I said no, what is the nasal pharynx? Here the widening of the nasals, nostrils. Okay, here the widening it will be there when the baby is taking the breathing in, breathing out. That is called as nasal pharynx. And then tachypnea, it means less than 60 breath per minute it is there. Hypothermia, below the temperature level, that is below 35 degrees it is there. Child may is having hypothermia. And then cyanosis, when child is in room air. Okay, because here the infant with the several disease may be cyanotic even when we are giving the oxygen supplementation also, increasing need of the oxygen, that time child is suffering with the cyanosis. And next one is decreased breath sounds and dry sandpaper breath sounds. How the sandpaper sound it will be there, that is dry. Okay, here the sand kar sound it will be there. That is called as decreased breath sounds or dry sandpaper breath sounds. So we will identify in the RDS conditions. Okay, and next is the child is having pulmonary edema. Look at this image, how that child's lung is there. Okay, here it is a normal lung. Here the pulmonary edematous lung. Here the accumulation of the fluid in the lungs, that is called as pulmonary edema. Okay, we will discuss now. As disease progress, seesaw retractions become marked. I said no, seesaw retractions means moving down and then up. Okay, the retraction of the respiration it will be there. Seesaw retractions become marked with marked abdominal protrusion on expiration. Okay, here we will identify. And peripheral edema increased. By extremities also is having edematous. And the muscle tone is decreased. Cyanosis increased. Body temperature is drops. Short period of apnea occurs. Bradycardia may occur. Changes in distribution of blood throughout the body results the pale grey skin color. Okay, and the diminished breath sounds is there. These are the pulmonary edema when it is child is having with the RTS conditions. Okay, this is about the pulmonary edema. That also one of the symptom clinical feature. Next one is secondary clinical features of signs and symptoms of the RDS. That is hypotension, edema in the hands and then feet, absent bowel sounds early in the illness, decreased urine output is there. Because of this respiratory distress syndrome, child is suffered with this secondary clinical features. Okay, mostly these are the symptoms we will identify in the cardiac conditions also. But whether the child is having this seesaw movements of the chest walls, or sandpaper sounds, or nasal flarings, grunting sounds is there, that time we will identify that child is suffer with the RDS conditions. Okay, these are the secondary clinical features. And next, how did you assess that child is suffering with the RDS? Here the one scoring is there, that is called as Silverman Anderson's scoring. Okay, here he given that score is 0 to 10. What he has to identify means that is nasal pharynx. What is nasal pharynx? I said, remember that. What is nasal pharynx means occurs when the nostrils is widened when baby is taking breathing. That time the nostrils is widened, that is we are identified in the child respiratory distress syndrome. That next one is upper chest wall. Here the upper chest wall is having the sternum, suprasternum and substernum is there, no? Here the movements you should identify. Next, at the same way, gyphoid region also you should check about the seesaw movements, and chest, lower chest also we should identify about the protruded abdomen or not, and then seesaw movements, and then check about the grunting sounds of air exit. What is grunting sounds? Here the grunting sounds, it is a rapid breathing which is heard during the breathing out. Mostly child is suffer with the lower respiratory tract infections only, we will identify these grunting sounds. I said in IMNCA these grunting sounds also. When we are identify these grunting sounds, whenever the child is suffer with the lower respiratory tract infections, that is rapid breathing which is heard during the breath out, when baby is expel that gases, air. Okay, that time we will recognize that child is having grunting sounds. Okay, these are the score of the Silverman Anderson score to assessing the RDS. Here the score is that is the 0 to 10 score is there. Okay, here look at this image, RDS scoring. Here we are identify the score. The first one is upper chest retraction you should assess, and second one is lower chest retraction, gyphoid retraction, nasal dilatation, and then grunting sounds. I said no in first image. Okay, these are the points you should assess while assessing of the RDS condition according to the Silverman Anderson's retraction score. Okay, here he given the score, that is 0 score, 1 and 2 score. Whether the child is having more than 6 score, it indicative of the impending of respiratory failure. How you are analyzing means, here child is having synchronization of the upper chest retractions, that time you should give 0 score. If lower chest retraction is not there, that time you should give none. Okay, gyphoid retractions, nasal dilatation, grunting sounds. Okay, that time anything if it is not there means you should give 0 score. And if child is suffering with the lang on the inspiration, seesaw sounds, it is there in the upper chest retractions, that time you should give 1 score. Okay, just visible it is give, and that is a lower chest retraction, just visible means you should give 1 score. If gyphoid retractions, just visible means you should give 1 score. If it is nasal dilatation, minimal it is there, you should give 1 score. And grunting sounds, by observation, by externally you should observe without stethoscope, it is not there means you won't give any score. With the stethoscope only you should give 1 score. These are the 1 score of the Silverman Anderson scores. And number 2, whenever you should give 2 score means if the child chest upper wall retraction is seesaw movements it is there, that time you should give 2 score. And the lower chest retractions is marked, that time you should give 2 score. And gyphoid retraction marked it is there means you should give 2 score. And mark nasal dilatation it is there, that time you should give 2 score. And grunting sounds by naked ear without any stethoscope, grunting sounds is there, that time you should give 2 score. Total, if child is having more than 6, that time the score is there, that time it indicates that child is suffering with the respiratory failure. Okay, this is the image of the Silverman score. Okay, when the nasal dilatation is there means how you should recognize means here the dilatation of the nasal, that is the nasal pharynx, it is there. Okay, here widening of the nasal is there, that time you should give one score. Okay, grunting sounds, here the with the stethoscope only we are identify that grunting sounds, that time you should give one. By naked ear we are identify, that time grunting sounds you should give score 2. Okay, the total score when it indicates that 2 score it is normal, when it indicates that more than 6 it is indicate that respiratory failure. This is very very important by assessing of the respiratory distress syndrome. Which score you are assessing, they are asking, this is the viva question. Means Silverman Anderson score. What is the normal Silverman Anderson score? That is 2. Whenever baby is having more than 6 it indicates that respiratory failure. Okay, that is about the scoring system. And next coming to the diagnostic evaluations, that is first one is the prenatal diagnosis, that is evaluation of the amniotic fluid and to assess fetal lung maturity. Okay, that is a prenatal diagnosis. And next one is laboratory test, that is PSEO2 elevated, it is whenever you are checking the ABG analysis. And partial pressure of arterial oxygen, that is PaTO2 is low, it is there. And blood pH low due to the metabolic acidosis. Okay, and calcium levels also is decreased in these babies, and serum glucose levels also is decreased. Chest x-ray shows that fluid fill alveoli and the atelectasis of the some alveoli surrounded by the hyper diminished and distended bronchioles is there. At the same way, laboratory investigations it shows that pulmonary function studies stiffness of the lung with the reduced effective pulmonary blood flow is there. Okay, these are the laboratory tests. And next one is management. The early recognition is imperative so that treatment may be initiated to halt the progression of RDS. Transportation to the facility providing specialized care is desirable when it is possible. And support to management also is needed for that baby and then their parents. And maintenance of oxygen, that is PaCO2 at 60 to 80 mm of Hg to be prevent hypoxemia. So you should give how much oxygen PaCO2 you should give means 60 to 80 mm of Hg. And frequent arterial pH and then blood gas measurements you should be analyzed, and use of pulse oximetry to assess the saturation levels. And maintenance of respiration with ventilatory support if it is necessary. And maintenance of normal body temperature, you should provide proper warmth for that baby, and then you should prevent the hypothermia. Here in this condition child is suffered with the hypothermia. And then maintenance of fluid and electrolytes and acid base balance, metabolism acidosis buffered with the sodium bicarbonates. This is about the general treatment of for this RDS condition. And maintenance of nutrition, IV dextrose 10% in water usually required. Antibiotics as needed to treat infections. And consent observation for complications. And pneumothorax diminished intravascular coagulation, DIC, you should assess for that conditions. And patent ductus arteriosus, that also you should be analyzed. With the heart failure, chronic lung diseases, that also you should be analyzed. Care appropriate for small premature neonate prevents the hypotension. And maintain hematocrit of 40% to 45% hematocrit levels. Okay, this is about the management. And next one is complications. What are the complications of for this RDS conditions is it is related to the respiratory therapy, air leaking, pneumothorax, because I said no in pathophysiology capillary leaking is there. So here the air leaking, and then child is suffered with the pneumothorax, mediastinum, pneumopericardium, and then pneumoperitoneum. These are the accumulation of fluid. It should be there in the mediastinum, accumulation of fluid in the pericardium, accumulation of the fluid in the peritoneum. These are the complications we should identify. And then pneumonia. Here the consolidation of the lung parenchyma also is there. That is pneumonia, especially cause of the gram-negative organism. And then pulmonary interstitial emphysema also is there, one of the complications. And patent ductus arteriosus, or it is a heart failure. This is a congenital heart disease, patent ductus arteriosus. That also one of the cause. And the next one is intraventricular hemorrhage, typically seen in the infant, weighing less than 1500 grams. Okay, intraventricular hemorrhage, that also one of the complications. And then DIC, disseminated intravascular coagulation, we are identifying. This is also one of the complication of the RDS condition. Okay, coming to the chronic problems is associated with the long-term use of oxygen. Because child is under the oxygen therapy, some chronic problems also is there. That is bronchopneumonia, dysplasia, and that is BPD is there. And child is suffered with the cystic appearance of lungs with hyper infiltration, and then obstructive bronchiolitis, dysplastic changes, and then pulmonary fibrosis also is there because of long-term oxygen administration. And then chronic respiratory infections, and child is suffered with the necrotizing enterocolitis. Here child is suffering with the necrotizing enterocolitis and tracheal stenosis, retinopathy of prematurity. Because excessive administration of the oxygen, child may suffered with the retinopathy of prematurity. It is there because of retinolental fibroplasia is there in the eyes. Okay, next one is other complications related to the prematurity. Child is suffered with the associated complications with prematurity. These are the chronic problems associated with the long-term use of oxygen administration. Okay, and next one is nursing management. Review of birth history. That time you should check about the APGAR score, that is first and second 5 minutes after birth, and the types of resuscitation required, whether any endotracheal tube they are intubated or what drugs they are given. Everything you should ask about during which type of resuscitation they are done, and treatments or medications administered, which medications they are given, everything you should take history. Medications or anesthesia administered to the mother during the labor, that also you should take history. And then estimated gestational age. Okay, EDD should be SS, that is estimated gestational age, expected age, that also it should be SS. And next one is a maternal history, that is contributing factors or complications. If mother is having any PAH, pregnancy induced hypertension, or mother is pre-eclamptic conditions, everything you should ask. And carefully assess the infant respiratory status to determining the degree of respiratory distress. Okay, and then determine the degree and then severity of the retractions. Count the respiratory rate for 1 full minute. Note level of activity and determine if they are regular or irregular. That respiration rate is regular or regular rhythmic respirations is there, or irregular respirations is there. Everything you should assess by taking the history and then observations. And identify the periods of apnea. Okay, how many periods it should be there, apnea, and then length and then type of stimulation is necessary. Whenever we are stimulating or pinching the soul or tapping the soul, that time baby is cry, so apnea is decreased. So how much the length of the stimulation apnea is there, when it may be, which type of stimulation you are given, everything you should identify. And listen for expiratory grunting or within the sounds form infant when is quiet. Okay, that also grunting sounds should be assessed. This indicates that an attempt to maintain the PPE. and to prevent the alveolar for the collapse. Okay, and the next one is note nasal pharynx. Okay, how the widening of the nasal pharynx, everything is there in the score, Silverman score. Okay, that also you should assess. And note cyanosis, that is lactation. Okay, during lactation, baby during breastfeeding, baby is having cyanosis or not, you should assess. Improvement of with the oxygen, that also you should assess. Auscultate the chest for diminished breath sounds and presence of crackle sounds. Okay, whether any crackle sounds is there, everything you should observe. Okay, and the next one is determine the infant cardiac rate and then rhythm, because with the preterm baby, almost the respiratory problems is associated with the cardiac problem, so that also you should be assessed. That is cardiac rate and then rhythm. Count the apical pulse for 1 full minute. Not irregular in the rate or bounding pulse is there. Okay, everything you should assess. Okay, that is about. And observe for the infant general activity, that is whether child is having lethargic or restlessness. Okay, activity active and then respond to the stimuli, infants cry, that also you should assess. Assess for skin for cyanosis, jaundice, mottling, plances for the graziness and then edema, everything you should assess the general activity of the infant, RDS infant. Next, coming to the nursing diagnosis, that is impaired gas exchange related to disease process. And second nursing diagnosis is imbalanced nutrition less than body requirement related to the prematurity and then increased energy expenditure on breathing. Okay, next third nursing diagnosis is ineffective thermoregulation related to the immaturity, means prematurity. Okay, next one is impaired parenting related to separation from the neonate due to the hospitalization. Okay, that is about the nursing. These are the nursing diagnoses. And coming to the nursing interventions, what are the interventions? Means promoting the adequate gas exchange and promoting adequate nutrition and hydration, maintain thermoregulation, encouraging parental attachment, and family education and health management. These are the nursing interventions. All of you clear about today's topic? What is RDS? It is because of diminished surface tension of the alveoli. Okay, mostly hyaline membrane is insufficient, is there in the prematurity baby, because of capillary leaking it is there. So child is suffered with the hyaline membrane disease. This is one of the fatal condition in the neonates. Because of this prematurity, because of this hyaline membrane disease, child's morbidity and then mortality rate is increased in this. Okay, I hope everybody is understand about today's topic.